Hi, my name is Nancy. Welcome to my channel, Running with Scissors. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. In today's episode of #Friday Sews, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the first Easter dress that I've started on. Don't go away. Well, I was hoping to have this first dress finished to show it to you today, but it's a little more complicated than I first thought, and I'm taking my time on it. I want to make sure it looks good and it's done right. But I thought you might like a little sneak preview of the dress. I'm making this for my youngest granddaughter, and I thought I'd start with the youngest and work my way up to the oldest. Well, let me show you the pattern that I'm using. It is a Butterick 6161, and it's the one the little girl is wearing with the tiered skirt. Okay. Well, there's more to this than meets the eye. And putting the tiers on, when I went to put the second tier onto the first tier, for some reason, I couldn't see it. You know, you're looking at the directions and they're saying do this, and I'm thinking, what? And you're trying to clip it on and that doesn't look right. I actually went to bed last night thinking about this, how to put it on. So finally, I got out the directions and I kept staring at the picture. It's this picture. Let me turn right there. That right there. That's the one. And I stared at that thing. Now, are you like me and you're kind of a visual learner? I have to see it. Did you ever watch the movie Finding Bobby Fischer? About this little boy, I believe he's 7, and he is a chess prodigy. And his dad took him to a chess master to teach him a little more the finer points of playing chess. And, you know, when people play chess, I don't play chess, but when they do, they always can see several moves ahead. That's to make you a good chess player, you have to see several moves ahead. And his instructor would say, don't move until you see it. Don't move until you see it. I'm that same way with sewing. Don't sew until you see it. And I'll look at the directions, I'll look at the picture, and say, I don't see it. I just don't see it. Well, this morning, got it back out. I stared at that picture again, and finally, I saw it. Oh, that's what they want me to do. It probably wasn't that difficult, and I think sometimes I make things harder than they should be. But sometimes if you just don't see it, you don't know where to go. Well, it took me a little bit of time. I'm going to tell you about this pattern. The back of it, it says easy. I wouldn't recommend this one for a beginner. If you've never sewn before, don't start with this one. Start with something that says learn to sew, that type of thing. So, but let me tell you, the fabric I used, and just give you a little sneak preview. What I used was something called a Jacquard Metallic. Okay, Jacquard Metallic. I've never sewn with that before. It does have like little metallic threads through it, and boy, does it fray. So you gotta get out the old serger. Now this dress is lined, the bodice is lined, and even the skirt is lined. The bottom ruffle doesn't have a lining on it, but the top two do. And but even because even they're being lined, I still went ahead and used a serger around it because I just don't want all that fraying even under the lining. It's kind of messy. So let me show you the fabric that I used. Have you ever been to the fabric store and you're looking at all the bolts of fabric and you see a fabric and, ooh, I like that. I did that with this. I saw this fabric and thought, I just love this fabric. It is so pretty. Well, here's what I saw. I saw this. Isn't that pretty? Oh, that's hanging off of it. Isn't that pretty? And then you realize that's the wrong side of the fabric. The inside, the outside of the fabric is here. See, let me see the difference. Let me hold them up. That's the wrong side, and below it is the right side. Actually, the wrong side's kind of pretty. So this is what it is. It is a metallic jacquard, but I love it. But see how it frays like that? What I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and serge it before I do any gathering because it'll be a mess. The thing about this is it's one piece. You cut it in one piece like so, and then you fold it in half, wrong sides together. So when you do the gathers, and there's 3 of them, there's really no hemming because it's folded. And there you have the fold there. So normally when I make dresses, the last thing I do is hem it. You try it on, you check the hem. Well, in this dress, I couldn't really do that because once the last gather's on, it's done. You can't cut it off. So I did have my daughter-in-law, that's for my son's little girl. I had her measure from the nape of the neck down to about 1 inch or 2 below her knees. I want to make sure that it wasn't going to be too long, because if it was too long, I could always cut a little bit off this last gather if I had to cut 1 inch or 2 off of it. So she measured, and I told her that this size 6, had a 27 inches from the back of the neck down to the hem. And we decided that I didn't have to do any cutting. It was going to be it'll going to be right. Last year, I had to cut quite a bit off, but it depends on the dress. So that's why I haven't got this on yet, because I just found out today, if I needed to cut any off of this gather. So that's the fabric. Then I'm going to show you a little piece of what I'm going to use for the tie. See, the little girl's got a little tie there, and the back of it, it's connected. There's a tie. It's called Warp Lame. It's kind of difficult to work with, but I wasn't using that much of it. Okay, I'm only using enough for here and then to tie it in the back. And so, but I just thought it looked kind of cool with this, and I'll show you the top here in a second. And then it's lined. And the lining, I just use some kind of a real light pink lining fabric. Okay, so let me just show you what I have so far. I told you I give you a sneak preview. You've already seen the bottom ruffle. And there's a lot of it. Oh, and speaking of the ruffle, I like to do ruffles on my serger, but this fabric is just too heavy. I always practice. So I did practice with just a single piece, and it serged and it ruffled fine. But this is going to be, it's when I fold it, there's going to be 2. It would not do the ruffling with 2 pieces. It was too heavy, and it wouldn't do it. So I had to do it the old-fashioned way. Sewing the basting stitches and gently pulling. Make sure you don't pull too hard because you don't want to break your thread. I know that sometimes people will use elastic, but I decided that was just too involved. I didn't want to try that. I just thought I'll just do the old-fashioned way, and it really worked. You just do the basting stitches between the seams, and then you just very gently pull it. You just don't want to pull too hard. So let me show you the top first. Now, when I have her try it on, if this part doesn't pull tight, I can always do something to make sure it pulls tight. But see, there's the tie. You'll tie around. Like I said, if once I tie it, if pulling the tie holds it in place, then we're good. If not, I'll have to find something to, hold that up. There it is. It's going to have a zipper in the back. The pattern just calls for a regular zipper, a lap zipper, and that's what I'm going to do. I don't think I'm going to try doing a visible zipper on this fabric. I think, I think I'm just going to do a regular zipper. Last year's dresses, I think I did all invisible zippers, but I think in this case I'm just going to use a regular lap zipper. So that's the bodice. Okay, and let me get the bottom. The skirt part, I just have the top 2. What I'll show you is it's the top 2 tiers. Okay, Here's the top 2 tiers. Isn't that pretty? And then the bottom tier, let me lift up the ruffle. It'll connect to this. The same as this, see this tier? Now this right here will go away when I attach this part to the bodice. Then of course it'll get sewn. This right here has just been basted in place. So that's why it looks a little rough. It's just been basted in place. But yeah, isn't that pretty? But one more gathered tier will be on the bottom of that. Then once that's done, then I will be putting in the lining inside the skirt. As I mentioned, the lining will line this part, but the lining will not be onto the bottom tier. So, and then I'll slip stitch it around. So that's that. Pretty cool. And I've got the lining sewed together, and the bottom just kind of turned under, still pinned, turned under, because this part here will be slip stitched around. So that's just, it's just a simple lining. So it will line the skirt, and the bodice is lined. So that's what I have started. So as I said, I have to gather the lower ruffle and sew it onto the skirt. And then from there, the lining goes into the skirt. And then after that, I will attach the skirt to the bodice. And then the zipper will be next. And once I get the zipper in, then of course I'll be slip stitching the lining in the bodice. And that should be it. Because there'll be no hemming involved, because as I said, the ruffles are folded. So there'll be no hemming. So that's what I have so far. I'm afraid though my other granddaughter, the one that is, she'll be 10, actually in a few days, I won't be able to make her the exact same dress. This dress only goes up to a size 8. And I even got online to see if maybe there was another packet with the bigger sizes, and that's as far as it goes. But if she wants something really roughly, I'll be able to find something. If I don't have it in my stash, I've actually been looking at Little Lizard King. They have some really, really pretty little girl dresses with lots of ruffles and all. And I can always have her look through that and see if she sees something she's interested in. I think the patterns are like $7.50, which I don't think are terrible. But I'm afraid she's going to want something that roughly. And if she does, we'll find something. We will. So next week, I'll be able to show you the whole thing complete. But I thought maybe just like a little sneak peek. Now, I still have 2 fabrics left on my fabric wheel of fate. I did spin it, and I know what the next one's going to be, and I am not sure what to do with it. I think I'm going to put them both on the back burner until I get these dresses done. But yeah, I've got 2, and they're both those sweater knits, the red one and the blue one. And so I'm not sure what to do with the one I got. So that's what I've got for you today. As far as life, I was back in the pool this week twice for the Silver Sneakers Splash, and I'm not as sore this week. The first week I was pretty sore, but you know, as you go along, your muscles get used to it. And so I've done that, and that is just a lot of fun. And I go with some ladies from church. That keeps me honest. Honestly, I think if I went to the Y closer to my house by myself, I'd be more apt to say, I ain't going today. No one's going to miss me. But when you're going with friends, they do miss you, and they wonder where you are. So I've done that. And other than that, that's what I've been doing this week. Exercising in the pool and working on this dress. So, and hopefully I will have the finished product. And I'll be starting on the second Easter dress as soon as I can get this one finished. All right. Well, if you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you would. Give me a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and I'll see you next time I download a video. Y'all take care. God bless. Goodbye.